Is recording on? Yes, the recording is on. Hello, everyone. Welcome, OLED. We haven't had an AMA session for a while. It's probably been over a month since the last one. A lot of events, a lot of news. I suggest we start with the most recent ones. Some of our active audience received an invitation to the chat for the launch of the Community Drive token. So, I wanted to clarify what will it ultimately be called there, Pixel Army, Pixel Alpha, for what purpose, when, and with what goal. So, the details.
Actually, I plan to leave the discussion about the launch of the community token for probably around the middle, approximately in 40 minutes, when our CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, joins us, who can delve into the details about the impact, how broadly we can reach the audience, and what it will provide specifically from a promotional standpoint. And now I suggest we go over the main pressing issues.
Well, let's say the first pressing issue is the Tiger Network. What are our plans? Any news? We were planning to announce it around spring, give or take.
Regarding Taika, we have completely finished the work directly related to the miner. Everything is connected, everything has been tested, but it's on hold. We had an in-depth discussion within the team with some of our most active users. We listened to what people think about network expansion, recalled our previous AMAs, especially those related to the question, why do we need additional networks? And at the moment, we have decided to strategically focus not on expanding and adding new networks, but rather on completing our economic cycle, which we have talked about several times in previous AMAs, so that every user who joins our ecosystem can enjoy the process, go through the entire journey in the game, and by investing their time, ultimately receive liquid tokens or real money, as one might say. So, rather than, let's say, spreading ourselves too thin with a huge amount of functionality, we focused on developing what we already have. But despite all this, Taika wants us. They are waiting for the launch of our network. We have until the middle of this year, I believe until the end of June, absolutely free time according to the contract to launch the network. Therefore, we are postponing it for now and are focusing on what we recently wrote about, the clan system, syndicates, lands, construction on lands, and, accordingly, professions. That's it.
Well, roughly speaking, not in breadth, but in depth in the coming months. Not expanding outward, but going deeper. Next question. The Swisstronic team has already announced the token generation event stage on their channel. So, I would like to know about the exchange of shards that we mined in the Swisstronic network and about the artifact. What upcoming events regarding this can we all expect?
We are in contact with the Swisstronic team and directly with CEO Konstantin. Right now, they are, let's say, actively working. Everyone is immersed and overwhelmed with various tasks. And the guys are asking for a little time. They will sort things out and get back to us for a dialogue. We remember Swisstronic. We remember the artifact. We know everything. We just need a little time to establish stable communication with the guys who are currently very, very, very deeply immersed in the post mayonnaise tasks. So here, most likely, it will be postponed for a few, maybe 3 weeks, as far as I understood from their response. But they are also eagerly waiting to return to us for a dialogue to conduct all this calculation and tokenization regarding the artifacts and everything. Therefore, we remember, just need to wait a little bit.
I suggest we postpone all detailed questions until the end of the session. Right now, we'll briefly go over the main events that have occurred over the last month and a half. I would like to bring up the topic of the last two major updates. We had the launch of Boosts, and the latest update was the launch of drones that collect pixel dust, the so-called dust. With the working mechanics now launched, I would like to hear more in detail about why we are collecting it, where it will be useful in the future, and what the future plans are, including the upcoming updates on the mechanics that we will see.
Sasha, explain this to Ilya.
Yes. So essentially, the dust. Well, as described, dust is the second ecosystem resource besides the pixel.
Can't hear you or sound issue.
No, Sasha disappeared.
Comrade Alexander Crypto Ninja. We really want to listen to you. But we can't hear you. While Sasha is fixing his microphone or figuring out what's going on, I see that we have people in the chat who, are not familiar with the Hello Pixel ecosystem. They actually came from the chat. That was created for, preparing for the launch of our community token. In a few words, I'll explain what we're doing. We are building a large, gamified on-chain hub that allows you to monetize your time, and as if playing an economic strategy game, turn it all into real money, into a real liquid token through various means. That is, just like developing a character in a computer game. You enhance individual parts, individual features of the application, immersing yourself in the ecosystem. Meanwhile, the ecosystem is divided into products. The first, but as it turned out, not our main product, is Pixel Wallet, a wallet that will include a Fi component and AI analytics. We have already developed both DeFi tools and AI analytics on our side, which are used in some parts, at least in farm analysis, anti-bot, anti-abuse, in analytics of internal systems like the market, users, and so on. All this AI is currently hidden and used as a utility within the team to understand what is happening with the product, but soon it will gradually, step by step, become available to our users. And our second product, which is currently the main one, is Pixel Miner. Pixel Miner is essentially an economic strategy with a large cycle designed for 2 years of construction, as I mentioned earlier, 2 years of development, which includes clans, lands, tracks, mines, inventory, crafting, and forges. So all of this is exactly what we are currently creating. In the end, there will be an economic strategy, time management. Users will be able to immerse themselves in it, and all of this will develop step by step, moving towards not just tapping keys on a screen, but truly immersing in a full-fledged game. And of course, we plan to transition into dynamic immersion in this product. But over time, that is, in the next 2 years, or a little less, a little more than a year, we are building this project. We started in March of last year. Well, in March of this year, we celebrated a year. So, approximately by the end, or the beginning of next year, we will have completed the economic cycle where the user will be able to, by going through the entire chain, within the app, convert the mine pixels into liquid tokens. Moreover, this functionality will be available even before the TGE stage. So, our third product is precisely Pixel AI, the AI agent. It is currently in development. Some users already have exclusive access and can click around, but it hasn't been released to the public yet. We are also developing a game. We already have one game, which you can access and play through our app. And the second game is in the closed beta testing stage. It's an online PvP Battle Royale game. It's somewhat similar to. The name of the game slipped my mind. Can someone remind me? Like Brawl Stars, yes, yes. When you control your character, you have various skills. Build creation, skill shots aimed, non-target, and you actively, dynamically fight with other players or together with other players. You go through different modes at the moment.
Well, here, maybe we shouldn't discuss the game mechanics yet, but regarding the release timeline, we already have quite a, well, roughly speaking, the core. The core mechanics are ready, right? And I'd like to know, regarding the timeline, for example, when the general public will see it, right?
Approximately 2.5 months until release. By the way, we have some guys here who are in our playtest chat. They know that recently the Teal'c Foundation came into the game to check it out, gave good, positive feedback, pointed out what needs improvement, and in fact, promised to return with exclusive support in addition to the standard support they provide to projects within their grant program. Therefore, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, or about a month, we will receive a more detailed response from them on how they can assist us in promoting the game, aside from marketing. But there's something like a reach of 2 million users. The game will also serve as a marketing tool that will help attract new users to our ecosystem.
Well, roughly speaking, is there a high probability that by midsummer, a wide audience will be able to see this game?
Yeah,
Ah, so maybe we should somehow name this game because we already have Pixel Wars, but for the second game, somehow,
pixel trap.
Pixel Trap just 2.
We call them pixel traps.
So that at the next A mine, we can confidently mention, like, what's up with the pixel traps, and everyone will understand what we're talking about. Since you briefly mentioned Oleg, what was done over the past year, we can probably mention that we have a fully functioning NFT marketplace operating on several networks,
Uh-huh.
and many users. I'll personally say that many users message me directly saying that our marketplace is quite convenient.
By the way, just recently, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, we fixed an issue that some users had where the marketplace wasn't working on scale. It's been resolved thanks to our Maxim.
Yes, the way, a big thank you. Thank you, I would say, not only to our developer, yes, and thanks to the users who patiently waited for the moment when we could allocate. Uh, everyone was waiting, understanding that we had ongoing processes. Yes, we were launching boosts and drones, and it wouldn't have been very convenient to drop everything halfway.
Yes, there was a lot of work at that time precisely in preparation for expanding the economic functionality, introducing a new currency, and the ability to mine it. Actually, it's not currency here, it's resources. Currency is absolutely incorrect. Introducing a new resource, the ability to mine it through the functionality of drones. Here, it will get easier from here. Next in line is the release of Syndicates, the clan system, where users will be able to form groups, collectively level up their syndicate, earn activity points, which in the future will influence the distribution of rewards, and the reward will be in a liquid token. I repeat, that is, specifically, in which one? It's not determined yet. It might be USDT, it might be SGB, or it might be either. We'll see in the future. But it will be a liquid token that will be obtained through the cyclical processing of the pixel you're currently mining, even before the TGE stage.
So, I understand that Alexander is having some issues with his internet connection. So, Oleg, I ask you to talk about pixel dust, about dust, and more in detail about the full economic cycle.
All right. Here, of course, Sasha could provide a more detailed answer because he works directly with our game designer on these processes, but let's try. So, the extraction of pixel dust is done using drones. Currently, we obtain drones in two ways. The first way is through the pixel's mind once a week with a random chance, and the second option is through G boxes. Sasha would confirm this for me now, but if I'm not mistaken, drones can also be crafted in clan forges. So at the moment, when syndicates are launched, there will be more advanced crafting functionality. There, you will be able to create items, upgrade current items, and craft new drones and new collectors. So here,
Did it get fixed?
It's some kind of mystery. Without a VPN, Telegram wouldn't let me in. Everything works, but Telegram doesn't work. I don't know how, Biz.
or we have a question for you, Sasha, about drones, about pixel dust. This is exactly.
Well, actually, to not complicate things and not take up too much time, I'll try to explain it simply. So, we have a new resource that we are extracting using drones. This resource will be needed for upgrading clans. In fact, various functionalities will gradually appear for it. The ultimate goal is to use the resources to build factories, steamships, and process pixel USDT. I heard Oleg already mentioned this. Basically, that's pretty much it. Well, that's it in a nutshell.
And will the lands be only for clans, or can they be?
Lands are personal. Lands are a personal matter, so to speak. That is, land NFTs that users can delegate to a clan. So basically, you join a clan, you have land. And the clan, using clan funds on the land, well, using pixel currency first builds a resource extraction station, then a processing station. And accordingly through this chain, you can process pixels into USDT. Something like that.
And we'll also be able to buy land with pixel dust, right?
Yes, yes, the lands will be available for pixel dust. So right now, we're mining a little in advance. We released the drone functionality. A bit earlier, they are mining dust for us in advance. And with the dust, we're already upgrading the clan. And, accordingly, we'll be buying lands. A little later, in the future, dust can be packed into chests. I don't know the exact amount yet. For example, you mine 100 dust, pack it into a chest. The chest itself becomes an NFT. Sell it to a user. The user takes it, unpacks it, and so on. And then they can use it.
Probably half the audience is thinking to themselves right now that they don't understand anything, but it's very interesting. So, I suggest we move on to the next question. Our dedicated mining pool is slowly coming to an end. We have just over 2 million left, I believe, in the main network. I would like to know what sequence of events awaits us after this when we see that the mining pool in the Songbird network has ended?
Well, first of all, when the tokens in the mining pool are exhausted, our first epoch will end. There will be a calculation of tokens, a tally of the total amount mined. We will look at what went to abusers. Farms calculate everything and release a specific report. So, after that, the pool will be replenished and there won't be a halving as such. That is, we will not reduce the token mining. However, the tokens that will be mined in the second epoch will no longer be able to be directly withdrawn, like directly withdrawn to dump tokens from the first epoch on the exchange. What does this mean? The tokens that will be replenished in the pool at the end of the current mining will only be convertible through the clan system and through lands. So what will we end up with? A user will be able to team up with their friends or join a clan purchase land, build on the land, and choose what to build. Resource buildings filling the lands with resources or production buildings. And then start an economic cycle where they will process the mine pixels into specific chains and ultimately have, as I mentioned earlier, a liquid coin. So, in the second epoch, the pixels that enter the mining pool can only be withdrawn through the clan system, buildings, and constructions. The tokens you are mining now will be directly converted into pixels one-to-one, as was previously stated. That's it. The only thing here is the system related to achievements. Currently, we have the 10th rank of achievements, and we are already developing an expansion up to the 15th rank and adding many new achievements for you. Alexander will now tell you a bit more about this. There you go. I don't know if this will be implemented before the end of the first era or after. Most likely after, it's Sasha.
Oh, well, we'll see. The timing is unclear when we will lure it out. So the mechanics are described and calculated. So in principle, the main achievements have already been added. So if we're talking about achievements now, actually,
Accordingly, the second era.
well, yes, so the timing. In any case, I remember we promised to talk about achievements in the last session. So I think we'll post the list of achievements, literally in the next few days, on the main channel, just so people can take a look. Well, as an option, if interested. Well, new ones, yes, that can be added. Yes.
You can.
All these achievements have already been confirmed.
So, I think the next question is about marketing. So when is marketing? Is there an expectation in the near future uh, to attract an audience from outside the CIS region? How can the new?
Let's maybe Mish. Sorry for interrupting you. Let's skip this step for now. Yava will be joining us in about 5 minutes. We will then move on to marketing and the community token. Yes, it will be in one. What do we have?
There are some minor questions left. Basically, we've already discussed the achievements. The only thing is achievements in scale, or rather, not achievements in scale, but achievements for the scale network. But they will most likely be included in this big patch for achievements, I think. Am I understanding correctly?
There are about 15 new achievements, right, that will be added. As far as I saw,
Well, there are quite a few, yes. There are many achievements in scale, achievements related to functionality that we are adding right away, like with drones, some related to crafting. Well, in general, there will be plenty to do.
At the moment, can I provide the statistics? On achievements, how many people and at what rank?
Yes, of course. We actually even showed it somewhere, I think.
Well, I'll say it out loud then. At the 10th rank, we have 5 people today, 9 people. At the 8th rank, 49 people. At the 7th rank, 106 people. The 6th rank has 402 users. The 5th rank, almost 1,102, almost 1,200. The 4th rank, about 2,500. 3rd rank, 8,300. 2nd rank, 2,800. 1st rank, 1,500 yen. Like this year, it'll rank about 3,000 people. Overall, we do not hide the statistics. Many know that we have a statistics panel for those with the interface. In English, it's called a dashboard. There is a lot of useful information about the pools, and we plan to add even more information there soon. Roughly speaking, I think Oleg Alexander will confirm that we are one of the few projects trying to show open statistics to all users in real time.
Check out the dashboard, it's quite interesting. For those who don't go there to look, there are many statistics for all NFT ecosystem systems. And now the new mechanics that are being added. You can see how many people are using drones, how many harvesters, all the information, across all networks, for all pools. For statistics lovers, everything is transparent. We're not manipulating anything. We don't have such a goal.
Misha, Java N is raising his hand. Let him speak and unlock the mic.
Given him the opportunity. Java, can you hear us?
So, guys, meet Java, our CMO, the person responsible for marketing, promotion, popularization, and the person who will lead the development of our community token. So, we've come to this point. Java, say something so we know you can speak and be heard. I'll continue, and then you can share more. Your mic is unmuted, but we can't hear you.
For some reason, his microphone is great.
Well, it's great for everyone who has it on but isn't speaking. He can speak.
Oh, right, by the way, Java, fix it.
Java, fix it. Try rejoining. I sent you the speaker link in a private message. Maybe it will work for us. The community token is actually an interesting topic. We've been thinking for probably the last 6 months. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Java. Now I'll explain and then you can take over the story. In fact, over the past 6 months, we've been simulating various strategies, trying different collaborations, interacting with various people, projects, and blockchains in an attempt to develop and promote the project. A lot of work was probably done towards handling Telegram traffic. Probably that was the most unsuccessful experience. After that, with Java's help, a significant strategy was developed and modeled. A marketing strategy through a community token, which in simulation showed the maximum possible impact that can be created in terms of user reach in the current market. Here it must be said that all of this was built based on the market, on what exists, and accordingly not forgetting what kind of application, what kind of project we are building. From there, a decision was made, and the tokenomics of this project was significantly changed and developed precisely for the maximum safety of all users and participants. In general, a decision was made to launch a community token, which is, first of all, a unique case for the market. That is, at the moment, no one else has such a case to develop a market through a community token. We decided to go this route, and if we talk a little about tokenomics.
So, there will be a taxation system. That is, every transaction directed to the liquidity pool, whether a purchase or sale, will be subject to a 7% tax. After which, this 7% tax will be evenly distributed among all token holders. Meanwhile, the tokenomics is structured in such a way 80% of the token belongs to the team and is locked in a smart contract and will be burned quarterly and completely destroyed in 2 years. This means the team will not have access to a single token. At the same time, thanks to the 80% of the tokens we will receive a large mission that will be distributed within the movement of this token. These funds will be entirely directed towards the development of the token and the pixel ecosystem. How so? By reinvesting pre-rewards, reinvesting rewards, we will be able to maximize. Now Java will take over here and continue. We will be able to reach a larger number of people. The essence of this token is not to earn money, but to spread it as widely as possible among the masses, so that as many people as possible learn about the token, and, accordingly, about the project to which this token belongs. Now, if we return to tokenomics, the remaining 20% will be liquidity in the liquidity pool, mixed with money, and liquidity tokens, they will be burned. As a result, no one will have free tokens on hand. The team
will receive the majority of the reward to reinvest this reward into promoting the token and developing the Hello Pixel ecosystem. Now, Java, the floor is yours.
Alright, I'll take it from here. Can you still hear me? Checking in case. Otherwise, I might start talking, and there will be silence. Well, basically, everything was explained correctly. Indeed, 80% will be locked, and 20% will be in the market. So, I'll elaborate a bit more on why this is necessary, and explain in more detail how everything will work. I'll tell you a bit about the token team who is involved, and I'll also talk about future plans and reveal a bit more about the strategy. Regarding the 80% that are locked, these block tokens are required to receive commissions, as everyone already understands. However, as Oleg Zuka already mentioned, all commissions will be reinvested. Where to? You might ask. Where are you investing these commissions? Where will the money go? The money will go directly into traffic. Traffic will be purchased from shorts, from reels. Traffic will be bought from other apps. Traffic will be bought from Facebook and Instagram, from YouTube, from Google, everywhere. That's why we have people like Sasha Antonenko on our team, who is a former simian from Notcoin. I think some of you have heard about the project. Here at Amazesia, I think people have heard about Notcoin at some point. Also, there are people from the Smith team on board. Smith is a top 5 team for traffic on Telegram, worldwide, all over the world. So they have exclusives with Telegram, and they are also with us. That's it, kind of. Where do the remaining 20% of the tokens go? They go to the community, essentially. There will be an opportunity to buy them before the public advertising campaign, essentially, and earn rewards from them. So essentially, 80% is reinvested by the ecosystem, and 20% the community, as the opportunity to buy and then receive rewards. Well, it's like essentially putting money in a deposit and receiving your dividends. Basically, the same thing. So, it seems, Zuka, am I saying everything correctly? Did I make any mistakes?
Everything is correct. I want to add, dear that, the amount of rewards that will come to the 80% of locked tokens, besides purchasing rewards, will also, part of the pool, go to the users of the Hello Pixel ecosystem. It will be distributed among NFT holders. It will be distributed among high ranks in the achievement system, and there were some other mechanics thought up as well. We will release a post with information on how these dividends will be distributed closer to the time. We also plan to create staking and liquidity farming pools to earn additional rewards and increase activity in the pixel. I think I mentioned that here.
Well, regarding utility, Zuka is more responsible for that, and he can tell you much more about the utility of these tokens. I'll also share some additional news about what's already ready for them. We have already assembled an ambassador program. I think some of you have seen posts on social media about us recruiting ambassadors, and we have already closed the recruitment. There were over 3,000 applications from influencers with an average following of 50 to 100,000 people. But we selected the best ones, about 150 influencers for our ambassador program, who can truly support the momentum throughout the first month. Going forward, we will change ambassadors monthly to continue ensuring token traffic, as I mentioned earlier. Moreover, just today, we finally launched the collaboration campaign, and over the next 10 days, more than 50 collaborations will be conducted with Web3 companies, various NFT collections, and different DeFi projects that we can reach out to. To be honest, for example, with Bybit or Binance, it won't be possible to do a collaboration literally before the launch. Well, either we need to be extremely lucky, or, I don't know, maybe Zuko will predict it in a coffee shop, and then everything will work out well, and the collaboration with them will succeed. However, no one is ruling out the chance of them collaborating with us after the launch, because I'm talking about the token itself. It's a long-term project. The token itself will last as a project for years. We're planning for at least 2 years because in 2 years, well, the team's tokens will be completely burned. As a result, in 2 years, the team will face the question of reallocating resources. But I don't think there's any point in looking that far ahead today. I mean, of course, you can look, but there's no point in it. What else has already been done? I think you started well. I think I can't reveal everything. For now, I can't reveal everything. I can also say that I forgot to mention some very important people in our team. There are people in the CIS space called Stealth Academy. These are people who have a very deep understanding of the crypto market, and they are also fully helping us with this launch. They fully assist with contacts within various private associations, contacts for interaction with funds, so that funds, investment, and session enterprises essentially also participate in this launch to ensure the greatest possible buy-in. For those who don't understand, who don't know, this phrase buy-in means purchasing power, so that our token is, hypothetically, at the top of the screener with a market cap of $100 million. And we all earn well with a large community. I even had a suggestion, although Zook hasn't confirmed it yet, to set a leitmotif. The leitmotif is together we build, together we earn, together we build, together we earn. But we'll see that in the future. Zook, what do you think about such a leitmotif, by the way?
We'll think about it. We'll think about it.
Sounds great. Sounds great. I'll say that. It's intense.
In general, by the way, it's an interesting slogan like play, mind, and build, play, mind, and earn. I don't remember.
Yes. Well, in general, we'll get back to all the slogans. The entire marketing and promotion system will be built, will be calculable, and will be very, in my opinion, implemented because now everything is changing. Now products are made not just for quality, but for overall growth. No one forgets about quality. No one forgets about interesting games. No one forgets about mythification. Zuka is here. He'll do it better than anyone. I don't know anyone in the market who can do it better. However, we need to grow. We need to grow financially. We need to grow as a company. We need to grow as a community. And that's exactly what we will be doing. Well, basically, I'm out of words.
Yes, it should certainly be added here that, indeed, the active promotion of our community token will be under the banner of, look, this is a utility project, a whole ecosystem with its own wallet and its own games.
Once again,
This will allow us not just to attract buyers, but to attract that very interested audience that will be ready to dive in and see what kind of ecosystem and product we have. Therefore, considering the multi-million reach we expect from users, the probability that a few percent of these people will come to play is very high. In turn, this will significantly boost the market as we have analyzed several times. I don't know. It seems that just 1,500 new users will clear the market completely. That is, there will be no items left on the market if 1,500 new players come. So let's stock up. While there are discounts, while there are sales in the market.
If even 10 people with money come, there might be nothing left of the market. And if 100 come, there will be fights. If 1,000 come, I'm afraid to imagine what will happen.
We'll set rules of engagement.
You have to understand that. The issuance, that is, the creation of new items, with each new patch, it will slow down and be handed over to the community. So, like before, when we had sales popping up, there was a bunch of stuff, it will decrease, and more will go specifically into crafting and into the hands of the community. Then it will be possible to create within clans through gameplay. Accordingly, the value of items will increase significantly over time. And again, I want to remind you, I know many forget this every time. So, despite the fact that we are building our project in Telegram, we have already migrated to the web, and soon we will also adapt it visually on the web in a more interesting and beautiful way. Our project was initially planned for 2 years of development, meaning it was intended that we would be creating and building mechanics for 2 years. Now, a little over 1 year has passed, and despite the fact that we are releasing our patches modularly, adding functionality little by little, this does not negate the fact that a full implementation of the economic cycle requires 2 years of time. The official economic theory of the cycle means.
Yes, let me interrupt you a little. Oleg hasn't yet accounted for all the turbulence in the crypto market, which we got caught up in and which everyone is aware of. And not only
We lost. Yes. All these unforeseen events cost us 3 months. Our 3 months. The emergency migration to the web alone was costly.
So, regarding the token valuation, by omission in absolute terms, well, because we heard percentages of 20, 80, absolute emission and token price. And once again, what will our ticker be?
The ticker, the name, right now we are speaking abstractly. No one will know this until the moment of launch. To avoid various scammers who will try to release tokens under our name, snipers who will try to buy tokens ahead of our people. Until that moment, we will not disclose the tickers or the token name.
So, will we have a price, meaning a pre-sale and then?
No pre-sale. No pre-sale. There are 80% lot contracts, burned quarterly, and 20% mixed with liquid funds from which a liquidity pool will be created. The price will be determined by the market at the time of launch because all users, well, not exactly, that is, first, our community, will receive the smart contract and will have the opportunity to purchase tokens. Literally a minute later, the smart contract will be available to the rest of the world. So, in any case, our users will be a couple of minutes ahead, after which it will be passed on to influencers, ambassadors who will start spreading. Not to everyone else.
basically the Wild West, but with nuances, right? With its own nuances.
With nuances, yes. That is, the price will be generated at the moment. The liquidity pool is created. And, at the moment, no one knows it because more and more new partners are joining us who support us, and the initial liquidity, one way or another, is gradually increasing.
I can probably name the range of the starting price. That is, it will vary by. I can name the range, yes, so it's from $200 to $400,000 as the initial price range, so that the token is not too volatile, but at the same time is capable of achieving good figures in total capitalization once. Additional organic growth from the market comes in when traffic is shared so that we can show huge numbers, great performance, and attract additional organic Retail. In simple terms, so that people look, see the chart, and decide to buy the token. Just by, going to the same, going to some Coinbase, going to some, and so on. So, in simple terms,
Yes, a huge amount of work is being done in this direction.
On which blockchain? Are we planning? And have we decided? Yet or not? If yes, then which one? So that people can at least prepare wallets in that network.
of course, we will announce the blockchain a day or two before the launch. We are currently in talks with many, let's say, blockchain representatives. I can say I might be able to disclose some information. There was recently a call with even the Sway blockchain. There is quite a large blockchain, and we had a call with their team. We are choosing the most interesting offer to not just do our own launch, but to do it with some other company, thereby ensuring a top reputation and providing additional purchasing power. The goal is essentially set like this. However, at this moment, we are leaning more towards Solana because there are objectively more real volumes, objectively more people trading, and objectively more community members influencing or interacting within the blockchain.
So I suggest our listeners raise their hand if they have questions for Yevi, so we can let him go. There you go.
Yes, let's spend 10 minutes on community tokens, then move on to questions about the main ecosystem, and we'll wrap up this AMA in about, at most, 40 minutes, because I know the guys are already joking that we can't do it in less than 2 hours. But I'm afraid we won't manage in 10 minutes.
So the total issuance will be 100 million. Right, for this one?
No, the community token will have 1 billion.
Okay, Angel, I turned on your microphone. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Play high. So, could you tell us a bit about how the coin will be held in Pixel?
Do you mean the community token?
Yes.
Depending on which network we choose. If it's Solana, then the Solana network will be integrated into our application. In it, you will be able to store them in a wallet and engage in various DeFi activities to earn additional bonuses within the Hello Pixel ecosystem. In addition to the fact that you will constantly receive the native token of the network we launch on as passive income. So if we launch on Solana by holding the community token, as we're calling it for now, you will regularly receive Solana in your balance. If we launch, for example, on the BNB network in Binance Smart Chain, you will receive BNB passively in your balance because you hold the token. Our community token. That's it.
So, does anyone have any more questions, guys?
Angel with the microphone muted. Do you still have a question?
I have? Already. So the question is withdrawn.
Oh yeah. So there's Mikhail. I see. He raised his hand first. And then it was clever.
All right, Mikhail, welcome. I've turned on your microphone. Ask away.
Do we have a delay in communication? Or people just slow to respond?
Seems fine.
Then let's give Clever the floor. After Clever, it was Mysterio, and then Changius, Saishan Shinhai Shangu Shangis.
Clever welcome. I've turned on your microphone ahead.
No, the connection is fine. I just switched over from another amp to you.
Oh, I got disconnected. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm wondering if there's a way to buy the token, not just within a minute or two, but maybe active users could get, I don't know, 10 minutes? Because I definitely won't make it in a minute or two.
What a clever one.
Oh, no, there won't be any pre-sale here. The token will be purchased. So in any case, our community will be among the first to get it. That is, we will pre-announce that the launch will be tomorrow, right? I will notify you a day in advance or even 2 days in advance, right?
Yes, exactly.
We will announce the date and time a day or two in advance, when the smart contract will first be available for our community, so you can purchase it before the rest of the world finds out. So in any case, you'll have some time.
Basically, we'll first publish in the chat a link to the smart contract, and then later with an announcement on.
I think it will first be on Discord, and then on Telegram and Twitter. Accordingly, it will spread further in parallel with Telegram and Twitter.
Next question. Clever, go ahead. You have a question.
Yes, thank you. Tell me, Vidya, I joined you late. Is this about the pixel token or what?
Right now, the last 20 minutes of the dialogue have been about the community token. This is our marketing strategy that will attract many users. And this token is not related to the token you mine in the app. So in the app you mine, the pixel, we are currently talking about the community pixel. It will have, let's call it a preliminary name. For now, in any case, it will have its own unique name, its own unique ticker, which we will keep secret until the last moment to avoid any possible scams from outside, because now there are more than 200 influencers, and more, right? Much more people know about what we are going to launch. As you know, scammers often like to release something under the guise of a big event. To avoid this, we will keep it a secret until the last moment.
That's right. And regarding the pixel itself, who can we contact? I have a question.
Regarding the pixel itself, I suggest we finish with the community pixel first and then move on to all the questions about the main project. Just about 5 more minutes.
All right.
Uh-huh. Mysterio raised his hand. Misha, give the mic to Mysterio, and Shondies.
Mysterio, I'll turn on your microphone. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, good afternoon. At the beginning, you mentioned that we are mining a liquid token, and that we are, so to speak, earning from it. Then, if you could explain, in a few sentences, where does the money come from? So what exactly are we earning? It's not just from the market commission and the claim commission. To understand that we are simply earning from them, so to speak, that it's not just a pyramid where those who got in first earn, and the rest are left behind.
Again, let's leave the main pixel discussion for a little later. I will answer your question. If you have any questions specifically about the Pixel token community, please raise your hand if your question is related to the current Pixel ecosystem, the current token you are mining, drones, dust, mechanics, and such. Please lower your hand for now. We will finish with the Pixel community-led Java. Go and then move on to answering the main questions. So, Rizzle was there, and then Mysterio raised his hand again. Mysterio lowered it. Then let's give the floor to Rizzle. As I understand it, I think we answered quite comprehensively. The main thing to understand here is that this is not an attempt. Even so, the Pixel community was developed, thought out, analyzed, built, and simulated to develop a unique marketing strategy. And precisely in this way, riding the market hype. Because right now, I think everyone can see that our meme tokens are not dropping. We will launch Pixel under the guise of a meme token, which will allow us to attract and reach a huge number of users. And at least, as far as I know, 2 out of 3 people who buy meme tokens. We don't like the name of the token, just like we don't like the name of slippers, but that's the reality. That is, users who buy tokens, 2 out of 3 go to figure out what tokens they bought.
I don't see anyone else with their hand raised, I
have Ruzel. Ruzel is holding his hand up.
turn it on him. I can't see him.
Ah, well, I'm turning it on for him. There, it's on. Ruzel, Tajra.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
I have a question about this token. Will there be some kind of minimum threshold on which platform? Previously, for example, we had about $2,000 in these wallets. The application investments in your project, or will it be something else?
This is not related to Pixel, which is currently being mined in the application. There is no minimum entry threshold here. Everything depends on you. Moreover, you don't even have to buy anything. For Pixel users, it will be enough to hold NFTs, be active, and level up. And in turn, you will receive your bonuses and rewards from the Pixel Community Token simply because you are an active user of the Hello Pixel ecosystem. That is, all of this, I repeat, is done to attract new users for a unique marketing strategy to enrich our users within the Hello Pixel ecosystem. In other words, all the money from the Pixel community will be reinvested for continued development. That is, as marketing, we will reinvest them back so that more and more new users learn about the Pixel meme, and accordingly, learn about the fundamental utility ecosystem that is hidden under this token.
Well, as I understand it, the purchase function will still be available.
Of course, you will be able to purchase it. Initially, it will be on a DX. A link will be provided, and I think within a week or two it will appear in our app. The network will be added directly in the Pixel app, and there you will be able to purchase, stake farm, and conduct some DeFi activities with this token.
Understood, thank you.
Even I remember. Like?
It was mentioned that it gets staked, and 7% from the transaction in the market, so to speak, goes to the owners. So, where will this money go? From the 80 state.
Once again.
80%.
Exactly 80% stake. They receive 7% in rewards.
Where rewards go?
Yes. Then these rewards will be reinvested in advertising purchases, rewarding users, rewarding ambassadors, calls, influencers. Further development.
Well, part of the rewards will go to current user rewards, for example, for holding NFTs, and the majority will go towards marketing. Biz token. Well, in short, and I repeat, 80% of the initial ones will be burned. All of them.
Yes, so the team will not have tokens available for free access. In other words, we won't have the opportunity to go and sell them. All our tokens will be locked, liquidity will be burned, 80% will be locked in a contract, and will automatically burn quarterly. From there, we will not receive tokens. Our commission, our reward commission, will come in the network's native token, that is, in Solana or BNB, which will be converted and spent on advertising purchases and promotion.
Or any other native token of another network if we choose a different network. I see Shinaz raised his hand.
go, the final query on the community token, and then we'll move on to the main topic so we don't stretch the AMA to 2 hours again. I don't mind. I always allocate 3 hours for an AMA.
If you turn it on.
Hello, good evening. I didn't turn on the microphone. About the 20%. They will be burned too, right?
Yes.
And we, the holders, how will we hold them if they are going to be burned? I can't understand this part.
No, look, we take 20% of the tokens. What is a liquidity pool? It's a combination of two tokens. The token of the main pair plus the token with which this pair is traded. USDT, BNB, Solana, S. So 20% will be combined with money, let's call it that, for example, with USDT. When you combine two tokens into one pair on a decentralized exchange, you receive liquidity points in return. These are tokens that confirm you own a certain liquidity in the pool. Again, the one who owns this liquidity can, in any case, at any moment, dismantle this liquidity, taking all the money from the pool, the so-called rug pool, in the market. You've heard of it, right? So, this happens precisely when someone suddenly withdraws the liquidity. Exactly. To prevent this from happening, the very liquidity points that we receive when creating the liquidity pool, we will burn them, so they will not be under our control. Accordingly, no one will be able to dismantle them. Moreover, it's a large sum of money, around $100,000. These liquidity points will be burned. Accordingly, after the tokens are burned, they can only be obtained by purchasing from the liquidity pool on a DX, a decentralized exchange.
Got it, I think. Alright, thank you.
I can't hear Shingi's at all.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear.
I heard Shingi's. I answered his question. 应该答了 he said.
Understood, thank you.
Great then. So, Mysterio as well.
Alright, yes, Mysterio, and then we'll move on to the main questions. If you have a direct question for Java, ask it so we can let him go. He has a lot of tasks, many calls. The person conducts 10 to 15 calls a day. I occasionally participate in them myself. I come as the founder of the project to meet our future partners.
Mysterio, mic is on if the question is not about.
Oh, you were talking about influencers. I would like to know, are these influencers all from the CIS or are there English-speaking ones too? Because the English-speaking audience of Pixel is very small, and that's one of the more solvent audiences. I would like to understand these influencers, bloggers who will be involved in marketing, are they from the CIS or are there English-speaking ones too?
Looks like Java has run off.
So that the project develops from this side.
Look, at the moment, the CIS will make up approximately 20%. A strong focus on Europe, China, Japan, and Turkey.
Super.
Ilya, you're raising your hand. Yes. Hello, Ilya. I'll turn on your mic now. Okay, it seems it's on.
There will be a strong shift away from the CIS, answering like that.
Evening, Ilya, go ahead.
Ilya.
Ilya, turn on microphone. Ask question.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Hello, everyone. I have a question about liquidity points. Right now, well, as I see it, the burning, it raises more questions. Specifically for the team, where does the team earn here? So, have you considered the option, for example, of locking liquidity points with?
I'll answer this question right away. You missed it, Ilya. The tokenomics is built from 100%. 80% is locked by the team in a smart contract. The smart contract is designed in such a way that it burns tokens every 3 months, until these tokens are completely burned over 2 years. As long as we own this smart contract, it receives a 7% commission from each transaction. So roughly from a trading volume of $100,000 from the trading volume, we as a team receive $5,000, which we reinvest in development. The remaining $2,000 go to the token holders, those who buy from the pool. So,
This is a bit not about that. Sorry, Oleg. If I understood Ilya correctly, I'll try to answer now. So, his question is essentially like, why does the team do all this? If they don't earn but reinvest, right? This reward volume, basically, well, the commissions, so to speak. That's it. And the question is, like, what's in it for the team? I can answer that question. For the team, I mean, why are we doing this? In order to develop the Hello Pixel ecosystem at its core. If the Hello Pixel ecosystem grows, consequently, more people join it. And so on, then the team earns from this. So essentially, as Oleg said, it's a marketing strategy. So therefore,
Yes, I understand that perfectly. Just how do we explain this to the users who will be joining? So basically, well, I don't know if it's possible to suggest this or not. Instead of a full burn, for example, a portion could be under vesting, meaning it's locked for a certain period. Then it will be clear to the users that we are developing the ecosystem. For example, in a year or two, when these funds are unlocked, we guarantee, well, not guarantee, but we hope that the ecosystem will be profitable.
well, that's a good point. Oleg, just take note of that as well. Okay, so the question here is about.
there is an understanding. So in any case, we have.
The question here is about the tokenomics of reward distribution, right? So you say, the commissions will come, and they will go into reinvestment, right? And here, in this reinvestment, let's call it 100% reinvestment, we just need to outline the tokenomics. That, out of 100% of all earned tokens, 20% goes to ecosystem rewards, 10% goes to the team, and 70% goes to further subsequent marketing. Then, essentially, people will understand how rewards are distributed, how commissions are distributed. That's the main point here.
Thank you for thinking about us. We will raise this issue.
Yes, that's all. There are no more questions. Thank you.
Here we are, you see, wandering with the help of ideas.
Overall, it's absolutely normal because, well, like, I'll say this, we've been engaged in altruism for over a year. Building the ecosystem. Sort of, well.
So I suggest we let Java go, if he hasn't left already.
And Java has already left, yes. So we can, gradually let's, probably. In the order you asked the questions, you have them in front of you, right? Let's go in the order you asked the questions.
We discussed all of them.
Oh, no questions, your questions. People have left. What was the first one we had?
I think.
To avoid chaos, let's go through.
No, I suggest asking a question because I didn't see many hands raised. We discussed many questions in detail. I think there won't be many questions about what we discussed. And if there are no questions at all right now, we can even have a short AMA for 75 minutes. But there's a question from Kaitri, which he asked. So, Kaitri, we turned on the microphone. Kaitri, go ahead. What was your question about our main project?
So, look, I woke up one fine day. Just so you know, I've been using your app almost from the very beginning. I have a big family. So I immediately created an account on my main phone for my younger brother, and so on. Naturally, they had less time to, do something, like every 2 hours. Log in, set alarms, and so on. So I was the one handling all of that. And then more than half a year goes by. Everything's good. I've already leveled up to over level 10. I've already forgotten what they're called there. I wake up, check the account. It's not my account. I log in, to the second Telegram account. It turns out, they left, basically, the lowest level one, this. What do you call it? They left the account.
Left what? In what sense did they leave it? Let's go into more detail here.
In the sense that, look, I connected my younger brother's Telegram account to one phone, and another person's, the next person. So on one phone, I have 3 connected Telegram accounts, and on each Telegram account, there was your Pixel attachment.
All right, I got the question. Yes. Look, I understood the question. This question started when we began transitioning to the web version. If you log in from another device, from any web version, in incognito mode, you will get access to all your accounts. Just in the current state. On one mobile device, if you have the Telegram mobile app, it currently works so that only one account is able to open at this very particular moment in time. This is not related to any restrictions from the team. It's related to how the Telegram app works. We've been using the web version for almost 2 months now. That's it.
All right. What do I need to do to access my main account?
If you want to log in from your phone, you can install the app from the official Telegram website on Android, for example, instead of from the Play Store. This app will be considered separate. Their cache is stored separately. Currently, you have one key in the cache, which is replaced every time you log in. Or you can use browsers. Have several browsers on your phone, but again, we don't recommend using too many, because it will affect your karma and commission. Then you'll have even more questions for support. Basically, we haven't physically limited the number of accounts on one device. We have restrictions and measures against multi-account users through karma, but that's a completely different issue.
Yes, I know that. It's just that it would really be sad and a shame to lose all the accounts after 6 months. I mean, really, the time was.
Well, since March of last year, we've been saying that having a large number of accounts is not advisable. Everyone understood it in their own way and did what they did. If you want to check the integrity of your accounts, you can easily open a browser in incognito mode on any device, or simply open a computer where your Telegram account is not installed, and log in using the seed phrase or private key to any account to make sure everything is in place.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So I suggest we let Yevgeny. Yevgeny turned on the microphone. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. I have a few questions. First, is there a plan to implement drone crafting for NFTs?
It's possible. In the future. Roughly speaking, approximately a lot is planned, but until the final balance calculation and release, we kind of not ready. The promise.
All our mechanics, in principle, that are released are related to NFTs, specifically with the acquisition of NFTs. Well, in the first stage, they are, always, acquired either from a chest or bought for pixels or purchased for the network's native token. Well, in this context, USDT has also been added in the case of boosts. In the future, a mechanic is added that allows you to recraft current NFTs. These are precisely deflationary tools to recraft current NFTs into new ones that come out with new content. That's it. I don't rule out that. Drones might also reach this point.
So the second question. Yevgeny, what do you have?
The second question related to this, as far as I remember. There was a plan to combine items from the scale with the main items, or was there a plan to transfer items? Yes. Or will this be combined into one inventory? How should this be understood?
I'll answer. If I may, I'll answer this question. Initially, a new collection was planned, which we sold only in the Scale network with the possibility of migration to the Taika network. At the moment, in the next few weeks, there are no plans to launch it. in the Taika network. I think in the next 1 to 2 months, it will become clearer regarding the Taika network. When we will launch it, if we decide to launch it, but roughly speaking, we are technically ready. We just need to coordinate with the Taika team. Because, as it happens, the volatility of the crypto market affects many, due to the extremely high volatility. For example, something unexpectedly went wrong with the unit team. And indeed, unfortunately, the signed contract with them, so to speak, became invalid, roughly speaking. But not legally, just practically. So, the question remains open for now. Initially, only the migration of the new collection with fixed parameters was planned. If Oleg or Alexander wants to add something on this matter, they probably can.
Am I correct in understanding that we have the main Pixel account with items that are only in it, and, accordingly, the so-called migrating account, which is currently scale, and then it will, accordingly, transfer items?
No, that's incorrect. We do not plan to close the scale network in any way in the near future. Initially, we plan to provide the opportunity to migrate something, but that doesn't mean we intend to shut down the entire network. The scale network is in our long-term plans, and it will continue to develop. It's quite possible that there will be some different mechanics there compared to our network.
Well, the global essence of the scale is, right now, the mining.
The global essence of the scale is that the pixel pool remains significantly larger, in absolute terms then, in the main network. Roughly speaking, in a month, or a month and a half, the pool in the Songbird main network will be depleted. But in the scale network, mining can continue for at least several more months. There is also a statistics panel, a dashboard that shows the number of pixels in the pool.
So, basically, you can draw an equality between the scale pixels and the pixel in the main net, right? I mean,
we are currently mining shards, yes. In the first epoch, they can be exchanged for the main pixel token at a 1-to-1 ratio. After the end of the first epoch, a direct 1-to-1 exchange will not be possible. It will only be possible through additional mechanisms.
I meant that a pixel in the scale network is equal to a pixel in the SGB network.
The mining pool in the scale network is allocated from the overall tokenomics equal to 1% co.
There. The same shards, absolutely equivalent in both networks.
The same shards of the same token with the same tokenomics. Roughly speaking, at the moment we have allocated 5% to the mining pool, with 4% in the Songbird network and 1% in the scale network. We wrote about this. When we announced the network, we mentioned that 1% is allocated. 1% for us equals 6.92 million. For those who don't remember, our total supply of the pixel token is 692,222,222 pixels. As for the 2200s, I don't remember if they are at the end or not.
May I continue with a question?
Yes, and I'll go ahead.
So, here's the next question. The pixels that are planned to be issued in the retro drop, are they equivalent to the ones we are currently mining, or will they be?
They're like the ones you're mining now.
I see, because I was a bit confused by this topic with the second era, where we will only be able to mine pixels through resources, and so on, and so on. So for now, what we're doing is well, how do you say it? Mining our levels, right? So, based on this, there will be a retro drop, and accordingly, the pixels will be exactly the same as the ones we are mining now. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Great. Second question. Could you please tell me, will participation be mandatory? What do we call them? Like teams. Correct me, Mikhail.
Syndicates.
Syndicates, yes, because there's already some panic among the girls about this topic. And not just because initially there was an idea that there would be raids, conquests, seizures, looting, wars. So the idea that the dust you've mined could be taken by someone else isn't very appealing. That's what it's about. Is it possible to create a neutral Switzerland so that no one bothers you?
The lands will be divided into biomes, and biomes will be divided into regions. The first biomes will be safe. So, if you don't want to venture far, develop in the first biome, and buy more complex resources, which are mined in the next biomes from the market from other users. And stay safe without taking risks.
Got it. But the dust we're mining now in the first biome, can it be used somehow?
Yes. The dust will be used further for purchasing land, for upgrading syndicates, improvements, and crafting. So it's a utilitarian resource.
There's some background noise. Perhaps, is there a limit on the number of syndicate members?
It depends on the level. So, there is a limit, but by upgrading the syndicate, you will expand the member limit.
I meant the minimum. So if there are literally,
You can be alone. So if someone, a lone player, wants to play and develop alone, they can create their own syndicate. Name it something like solo. Solo player, solo angel, and develop everything alone, simply purchasing resources from other players. But, of course, development will be much faster, more efficient, and more interesting, yes, with a team. There is no minimum restriction. There is a maximum, but it expands with upgrades.
And the last question. I didn't join at the very beginning. Was there any information about Swisstronic?
We are in contact with the Swisstronic team. They are currently sorting out all the mess that happened with the launch of the mainnet, asking for time to get back to us and have assigned a dedicated person to us. Once they sort things out, we will receive all the detailed information and will immediately pass it on to you.
We don't know the time frame yet.
2 to 3 weeks. Let's go with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. So, let's give the floor to Yevgeny. Yevgeny, yes.
I just have a bit more of a follow-up question regarding syndicates. Have you considered the situation? And accordingly, what would be the result if all, let's say, top players unite in a syndicate? Will the syndicate have any real, perhaps even significant, let's say, perks that they can potentially exploit in some manner in this way?
Yes, probably. Not exactly as an exploit. No. But they will clearly be able to convert their pixels into liquid tokens faster. That is, they will develop faster and, most likely, the top players will set the resource market initially with high probability. But we thought that. While the top players are at the top, 20 or 30 people united and active in a clan can easily surpass 5 top players. Well, maybe not surpass, but be close to them. So if we consider top players as those who donate real money to the game, and compare them to users who just actively invest their time, it's not like the top players are going to be way up in the clouds. So a good collective effort.
And if how many people will be in the syndicate, roughly speaking, at, let's say, at the first level and at the fifth? Well, are we talking about numbers like 10, 50, 100, 5?
Sasha, you seem to have the data.
I think it starts with 15 at the first level, and then 1 or 2 people will be added per level of upgrade. So the base is 15.
A maximum of 80? Is that correct?
Well, I don't remember, to be honest. Something around.
It will take a long time and be expend. Long and expensive to reach the maximum. So it's kind of early to think about it, I think. The question is being asked too far into the future. Ask again in a year. Roughly speaking, at the first stage, the first level will probably have 10 to 15 people. That's it, and 2 to 3 people will be added each level. We'll see.
I have another question. Yes, I have another question about boosters. It has also come up and been discussed multiple times in the chat, so I'm asking, will boosters for the second miner be burned somewhere, and will they have any additional purpose besides upgrading Buddha or whatever we have? Next.
Well, as soon as we get to, let's say, other tokens. Because unfortunately, we can't do everything at once, yes. That is, finding some tokens for collaborations. We have a plan for adding new tokens for mining. So, accordingly, it will be more relevant then. At the moment, it's less relevant. And in general, our mechanics, if you've noticed, are always divided. Yes, like, for example, you get a Lego and it might not be very good. That's how it's designed.
But the point is, will it be possible to burn them somewhere? That's more the question in this regard. Because those that currently make up the floor of all NFT commons, they just, well, I don't know, don't really have any meaning yet.
Well, except for holding the general NFT to make an achievement.
Are you talking about boosters?
Yes, about boosters. So, for the second token, they are not in demand, therefore is currently lower than that of a regular common.
Our game designer did plan for the possibility that boosts would be burned in the clan system. Boosts, unnecessary drones, all these NFTs, they can be.
There will be an application for everything.
Yes. So nothing will just sit there as dead weight. In the worst case, you can break it down into dust.
It might sit for a certain time, but there will be some mechanics eventually. To put it briefly,
That's what I was interested in. Thank you.
I suggest we give the floor to Edu. Go ahead, turn on your microphone and ask your question.
Yes, Oleg, can you tell us a bit about converting dust into a liquid token? How will that happen?
There's a whole chain here. Let's keep it brief. Syndicate. Land. The land is divided. Well, it's one type, but it allows for two constructions. The first direction is resource-based. The second direction is production-based. So, accordingly, you need at least two sections of land, one to extract resources and the other to process them. If you want to process pixels, you'll need to build purification facilities. Don't get attached to the name just yet. So, basically, first you need to process the pixel into one material, then process this pixel into a refined pixel. And after that, process the refined pixel into a liquid token. It's like a chain in different production structures set up on your land. The better it is developed and upgraded, which requires pixel dust. For development, the faster and more processed pixels will be produced. I should say everything right? Seems nothing.
Well, more or less. Yes, yes. So accordingly, we have land, on land, two types of building. Accordingly, they extract various resources, meaning resource buildings, and accordingly, the processing chain processes these resources.
Let me just say it figuratively. So you build, for example, a forest. You harvest wood, you need a sawmill, and in the sawmill, you process it into logs. You need logs to build the first structures for processing pixels. Besides needing logs, you also need stone, iron, sand, and provisions. You will always need provisions for everything. Therefore, provisions will likely be beneficial for players who want to stay in the middle tier to invest in food development. Because the higher your buildings, the further you progress, the more food will be consumed. Therefore, in the initial biomes, you can safely focus on developing the food sector and resell it to those who want to, for example, mine iron, wood, stone, and accordingly move further. So, this will be just one of the development directions, like your own food farm, for example. So, accordingly, you gathered resources, stone, iron, logs. Using them, you built, thanks to them, you built, say, the first processing plant, upgraded it to a certain level, and built a second processing plant. There, you might already need tier 2 resources. For example, you used iron, processed gold, and from that crafted boards, chips. some batteries, which are already Tier 2 resources for more complex upgrades. So here it goes that
all these mechanics will be gradually implemented. We will try to explain them as thoroughly as possible. So it's not like we're going to dump everything on you at once. So, at the very least, this whole system will have 3 iterations at minimum, but most likely even 4. The first iteration was precisely the launch of the drone. And now, accordingly, we are mining the second resource that you will be operating with. Further, all resources will be in-game, meaning they will be considered soft currency, so to speak, the so-called soft currency, right? So, these will be game resources. And there are 2 blockchains, Pixel and Pixel Dust. I understand. Could you please explain again about the other ways to mine Pixel Dust? Only with a drone. So there won't be any more opportunities, like burning NFTs? Yes, at least in the foreseeable future. As we have planned, Pixel Dust can only be mined through drones. So there might be mechanics that allow, for example, launching 2 drones. Equipping drones with additional modules that will also increase.
those are clan-related things, right?
Yes, they are. Increasing Pixel Dust mining, yes. Other sources of mining, no.
Here, Ed probably meant obtaining dust through burning NFTs, sort of. So, this mechanic will again be in the future in clan forges. That is, you will need to build a clan forge.
Yes.
I suggest we give the floor to Dan Chepela. He's been holding his hand up for a while. Dan, can you hear us? Hi, turn on your microphone and ask your question.
Hello. Hi there. Greetings to everyone. Can you hear me here? I apologize. I wanted to go back, yes, to the story of the end of the first era. I just heard in a jumble there. What will be taken into account? Levels, not levels, or how much was burned? Or will it be purely pixels recalculated? So, in other words, it's important for me right now. What should I focus on? Saving these pixels, or should I continue to develop this whole story? So that's the direct question. Well, I'll try to answer. Look, there can actually be many different strategies. Basically, the first thing is, don't forget about the retro drop, which will be based on your rank in the ecosystem, right? So, the higher the rank, the higher the retro drop. This is something we've already mentioned. Next, regarding the pixels themselves. Everything you acquired in the first epic will be issued to you at the TGE, right? However, the point is that while the TGE hasn't happened yet, and new mechanics are coming in, they require pixels. So here's the direct question for you. What will you bet on? In other words, roughly speaking, you can spend, say, 5,000 pixels to upgrade your pixel dust mine so that you don't fall behind in upgrades, right? So that you can use it to mine more pixel dust and participate in the whole clan story, again, if that's necessary or interesting. If it's not necessary or interesting, you can just hold on to the pixels and not worry about it. Well, roughly speaking, right? And basically, just wait. It's a question of engagement in the ecosystem. We have engaged users who enjoy the mechanics, who play, have fun, and are interested in developing further, especially when they are waiting for new content. And there are users who aren't particularly engaged. That is, they just accumulate. It's like we had a character with a 5th drill and 200 pixels, waiting for the TGE, basically. There are those as well.
I want to add something here. First, look, regarding the transition to eras. So, for example, you finished an era with 1,000 pixels. But if you spent those 1,000 pixels at the end of the era on drones, clans, or lands, and didn't replenish them, meaning you're constantly burning them, then, when the distribution for the first era happens, if you don't have those 1,000 pixels in your account, you won't receive them. If you mined 1,000 pixels and you have them by the end of the era, you'll receive them, and the second 500 pixels will already belong to the second era. So you need to understand that, in order to receive pixels for the first era, they must remain with you. But now let's look at another aspect. The mine and pixel dust. You can spend pixels now, or upgrade the mine to earn pixel dust, which can then be wrapped into scrolls and sold on the marketplace. So, for example, you earned 1,000 pixel dust and the market set a certain price. So our whales, our users, know that they need pixel dust for their clan, and they are ready to buy it, for example, at $1 per piece, or for 100 pieces. Therefore, it might be that by investing in pixel dust mining now, you will recoup those pixels much faster than waiting. That's second point.
That's also an argument.
I had a third point as well. Yeah. And possibly if you are in a good syndicate with a great community, with a great team, it might be faster for you to process the mind, pixels in the first era, through the clan chain, through the entire production chain. This is exactly part of the economic cycle that we've been talking about for a long time. That is, to process the pixels before TGE and convert them into native currency. Because according to our calculations, with a well-developed clan, 1 pixel yields more than the TE price.
That's right, but you have to be skilled for that.
Well, that means you need to assemble a really good team, develop great lands, stock up, build, grow, and run through the entire production chain. So it's clear that you can't do this with just 3 people and no money. On the other hand, with 5 people and money, you can do it.
Well, yes, that's true. Like, really, it depends on how people entertain themselves, what opportunities and resources they have, and essentially, their level of immersion in the ecosystem.
So you can do it alone too, meaning you can run the entire production chain by yourself. But you need to understand that we will have professions there. Will be 4 professions. Depending on the actions you take, that profession levels up. Therefore, being in a syndicate, it will be much more beneficial to distribute roles, so that someone handles resource production, someone else handles resource processing, and another person handles trading. Then the efficiency of converting your pixel into a native token will be much higher than if you were doing it alone, because your profession's level will be much lower than if you were focusing on a single action each time.
It's like, I don't know, maybe some of the old timers remember there was a game called Ganja Wars. Something from there. There was this thing that MMM. There were professions, there were skills, well, skills in using weapons. So leveling up everything at once, well, it was just impossible. That is, you would fall far behind the general server. But at the same time, the possibility was there. And actually, when people leveled up, the main professions like killers, those fighters for syndicates, real estate, and so on, and the skill with the main weapon, and hit a sort of content ceiling. They actually started leveling up alter well additional professions, which by that time began to provide, besides the main profession, some extra small bonuses. So people started appearing with 2 professions, 3, 4, with all the weapon skills, and so on. So basically, that's kind of where it comes from.
All right, I suggest we give the floor to Fawn. Fawn, I've turned on your microphone. Go ahead and ask your question. Hello.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I have a question regarding tokens, specifically about the main token, Pixel. Uh, in the previous AMAs, it was discussed that holders of the main token would receive their rewards in the future just for holding. And now, with the launch of the meme token, has anything changed or does that still stand?
Nothing has changed. Everything still stands. The only thing is, you see, we've slightly moved away from the DeFi part. You could even look at our roadmap where we've focused on developing the second product, that is, Pixel Miner, on gamification on the game, slightly postponing the DeFi part because our Main rewards for the main pixel holders were calculated specifically from the DeFi segment. Here, we'll adjust slightly, and at the end of the epoch, we'll distribute accordingly with the pixel community token. So, we'll see there. But nothing has fundamentally changed in the overall concept.
Uh-huh, wonderful. And there are two more questions regarding the SKL network. Is there a plan to add boosters and drones there?
Distribution. Well, regarding boosters, if there's such a demand, then I think yes. And in general, new achievements will be introduced in SKL. So it will be more interesting there. And besides, everything else Oleg already mentioned. That we will now focus more on gaming content and the development of our current networks. That's it. And at the moment, with our pool in SGB ends, and there is a transition to the second era in the SGB network. In essence, the pixel token can only be mined in the SKL network. It's the same pixel as in the Sunbird network. You won't be able to mine pixel anywhere else. Well, for some period of time. Except in the SKL network. That's it, regarding drones. Well, the thing is, honestly, we haven't thought about this. Strange as it may sound, we haven't considered launching pixel dust in the SKL network. For now, because the activity there is lower than in the parent network. So, in fact, we decided to focus on the main network to test all the mechanics there, at everything we currently have, and then think about SKL. Like what to do, yes, I'll add here. In several previous AMAs, I mentioned that we planned the SKL network as a network for developing partner projects. Just a couple of days ago, we resumed this direction. BizDev has started engaging with gaming projects. And in the SKL network, the focus will likely be on adding a second or third drill with other projects, either with already traded tokens or with tokens approaching TGE, to minimize situations like we currently have with JBuddhahan, Zargates, where users have been waiting for 6 or 7 months for the token to be released. So we will now be considering partnerships, more with projects that are either 1 or 2 months away from TGE or are already in the market.
That's why the network is scaling in this direction.
So it mean it will expand?
Yes. The network will expand. New users will join the network, achievements will appear, so activity there will increase. This is in our plans, and we are working in this direction as well. And just as I mentioned earlier, this includes adding new tokens to the network. So there will be a focus on the second drill. In Songbird, there will also be projects for the second drill.
And here, I want to add that as soon as we see activity in the network scale, well, activity that is increasing, so to speak, we can also ask the community, right, if they want pixel dust there. Maybe we will allocate some part of the pixel dust mission to scale. Quite possible. That's it. But that would be through a survey of some sort, a little later. We plan to create a minimal DAO, a voting system, right in the app, right? That is, let's say, the powerful DAO that we would like to create at the moment. Well, we just don't have the means or resources, right? But a minimal DAO, just a voting system based on account age, for example, yes, the weight of the vote, is generally not difficult to implement. And I definitely think that as soon as we resolve the community token and the introduction of clans, we might take on this task. Because, in fact, the question often arises, let's ask the community, kind of. Actually, asking through chat, yes, with a regular poll is not very accurate, well, simply because not everyone votes here, and not everyone is in the chat. Not everyone reads the news in the main channel either. Well, in general, this leads to
Yes, Gisai.
A survey. So if we create an application on the main page, perhaps some kind of incentive for this, so that people would vote. For example, We could make an achievement, yes, like the number of times you voted. That is, people will be more actively involved in the development of topics and, actually, mechanics.
So, thank you for the big question. Maxim raised his hand. Maxim, turn on your microphone. I've given you the floor. Go ahead. Good evening. Maxim, I've turned on your microphone. Go ahead. So, Maxim has disappeared somewhere. Then, Tajarov Razzle. Once again, the question. I've turned on your microphone. Speak again.
My question was about the TIA network. Has everything been resolved right? There's no progress in a positive direction on this network. I looked at the roadmap, and it seems like nothing is moving except the VM between.
About the TLN network? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, about TLAN.
Well, our latest news about the TON network is about the upcoming game, Pixel Trap, right? Pixel Trap. We are expecting a response from them soon if there is interaction. In this direction, I think, the TLN network will gain some activity. Am I right?
I'll be brief. Look, we have developed a game that is currently in very, very close playtests. We are working on it. The TLAN Foundation is aware of it. Currently, the agreement is that they will help us. That is, they will write about our game everywhere and help us with the launch. Well, I mean, how much they will actually help. The TLAN Foundation, let's say, are quite slippery in this regard, right? So, it's hard to get specifics from them. But overall, they are interested. The current status is like this. As for the estimated timeline, well, it's hard to say right now. That is, we think it will take 2 to 3 months to enter some sort of open beta, something like that. So, this is what's going to be launched on TLAN soon.
All right, I think we've answered. Okay.
We can't do less than 2 hours.
Jim, I'm turning on your microphone. So did I turn it on or not? Yes, it's on. Jim, hello?
It's just starting. Maybe try turning on the microphone?
Jim, I'm turning on the mic. Go ahead. I don't know, is he here? So Jim stepped away for a moment. Bull run.
Hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Hello again, everyone. I wanted to ask about the ranks. I missed a bit at the beginning. For example, when the pool ends and new ranks are introduced up to the 15th, as you mentioned, will those new 5 ranks affect the retro drop, or will they be fixed as of the pool's end date? For example, the epoch ended, the pool was reset, and everyone who reached the 10th level will receive for the 10th. But if you move to the 11th after the first epoch, that 11th won't count anymore. Look, the retro drop is kind of weekly for us, meaning it is divided by years, just like the emission, and exactly like the vesting. I believe our vesting lasts for 4 years.
Accordingly, the entire volume of the retro drop is also calculated for 4 years. Once a year, we will distribute a portion of the volume. Accordingly, the ranks that exist at the current moment will be snapshot, and based on these ranks, it will be issued. But this doesn't mean that new ranks won't have an impact. Naturally, they will also have an impact in the future. So the progression will simply continue further, and that's it. But we naturally take the snapshot before the day of licensing achievements, accordingly, for new achievements and new rank.
Aw, thank you a lot. That's what I was interested in. Well, guys, let's take a quick, short 7-minute break.
Buren wanted to. By the way, we also have a question for him.
I thought Buren was at the market.
Just a question for Buren. I am actually Buren.
So I lost sight of him. Someone turned on his microphone.
I don't see him either.
Looks like he ran off. So no questions for now.
Apparently asking. Fantastic.
So if there are no questions, maybe we should wrap it up. To not drag it out too much, it's already almost 2 hours. Here's one. Last question. So with the nickname microphone is on. Go ahead and ask your question. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I have a somewhat technical question. Not even a question, more about technical convenience. In the shop, drones are sold for SGB and USDT. And in the shop, boosts are sold, but only for USDT. Why not make boosts, which people need daily, available for SGB as well for convenience?
Good idea. Well added.
Thank you for the question. So, Oleg, are we wrapping up? No.
Let's.
If we're wrapping up, maybe a small promise that we'll release a promo video for our users in the coming days. I know it's ready.
A promo video for our users. We need to think about it here.
In which department?
What do you mean? We wanted to release it. We'll release it, yes. We will release it. We just need to prepare it a little more.
All right, here's Buren. Buren Crypto has joined. Let's turn on the microphone. Buren. Okay, once more. All right, Buren has turned on the microphone. Go ahead with your question. Good evening. I think this will be the last question for today.
Yes, good evening. I wanted to know about the latest NFT, the one that...
You need to. Turn on the microphone, then speak. I can hear him. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, got it. I just wanted to know about the latest NFT that came out. When will it start working? And can it be put into slots? To mine?
Which one is that? Is it the duck?
Yes, the duck. As soon as we add it to IT, we'll think about what would be the coolest thing to do with it for users. We have new content coming out soon. Besides, there might be some cool perks, but we are still considering what to add there.
Yes, most likely it will be. In the direction of construction plans, it might be possible to install it on your land.
Yes, to add, sort of, stabilizers, because there's a plan for a lot of content. We decided to to show some appreciation to the users, yes, and keep it until the new content for those who.
I could hear anything.
Yeah, got it. All right, thank you. And I have another question.
The sound is cutting out for me. Goran, I can't hear anything. It's likely a card bug. I hear is garbled.
I also wanted to ask you, will it be available immediately on TGE like the Pixel? So, in May, when they promised the 5th, or when was it? Right.
Well, there won't be a TGE in May, guys.
And it won't be in May.
You have to understand that. You have to, yes, kind of understand that we look, actually, everything that's happening with our community token right now. The focus has shifted to it. That is, first of all, launching a utility token in the current market is detrimental to the project. I mean, it's specifically detrimental to the project. The TG is done once, it can't be repeated. And you have to understand, the better we prepare for it, the more users come to us, the more liquidity the project will earn, and the more money our users will make. So the earlier we release it, the worse it is for all of us. Why should we mess up in the current market? Come out crying, get a lot of hate from you, and see an extremely ugly chart on the market. Especially since everything is basically dropping right now. When we can hit the hype and trend with a community token? Thanks to this strategy, the marketing strategy, we can attract a huge number of users to our ecosystem and prepare the TGE for the moment when we as a project are ready, when all our users are already happy and able to earn. If you have heard me before, we mentioned that. We are currently setting up the system in such a way that even before the TG stage, you will likely be able to convert your pixels at a much higher value than you would receive at the TG. So instead of seeing a chart where everyone rushes to sell their pixels, you will calmly, daily, quietly process your pixels and receive more than if everyone dumped them all at once. Understand?
Approximately when will this TG be? Is it unknown to?
Let's first launch our community token and attract users. I mean, in general, we can conduct the TG, so it depends on what your goal is. Do you want to get, I don't know how many tokens you have, right? Well, roughly, do you want to earn $50 or do you want to earn $1,000? So, like, the question is, if your immediate needs are to earn for food, phone bills, then wait a little. When the pixel gives, you can wrap it in scrolls. I'm sure you can earn much more by wrapping pixel dust in scrolls and selling them to active players who are currently upgrading plans and lands. It's highly likely that this will be as much as you would have earned at the TG if we had held it in May.
I see. I understand you. Thank you much.
You sound upset from your voice.
MMM. Well, I was just thinking about how this would actually happen. That's it. I wanted specifics.
No specifics. It's not the time to launch. All the analysts, our advisors, all the partners are saying, guys, like, what TGE? Are you serious? I mean, you're building a project, a long-term project. You have so much for construction, for development, and you just want to kill your project now? They say, like, well, we'll help you do the TG, we'll help you attract liquidity, we'll help you launch, we'll help you expand, but you'll kill the project. That's what our partners and our advisors are saying. Like just, well, let's be real, that you don't always need to follow the user's lead, and you still need to look at the long-term perspective and focus on what we have planned, meaning moving towards building the project. For this, we are already providing you with mechanics. They are being developed right now. That's why we changed direction a little. We didn't go towards developing additional networks, because developing additional networks would have been much faster and more efficient for the TG. They're the same tokens, additional users. But we focused on quality, on development, on the game. So remember, we are still creating an economic strategy. A gamified hub. So that's why we shifted our focus specifically towards developing mechanics, and it is precisely in these mechanics that the economic cycle is embedded, which allows pixels. Yes, that is, it was in these mechanics that the reason was built for why, after the TG, the user should go, and buy this pixel, why the price should rise, why they should go buy a pixel from the market to start playing the game, to buy lands to build, to develop their clans, to develop transport, to craft, in other words, to fully play the game. And only then would the value of the pixel itself rise after the TG. So, we are carrying out precisely that process before the TG. But the user does not have the opportunity to go buy pixels from the pool. But you have, right now, the chance to get these pixels, which you will exchange for money, at a better rate than if you tried to sell them ahead of 100 other people who only need to sell. So, the question is simply whether you came to play, to press a button to hit the glass. For those who came to play the game, they will earn. Believe me, everyone who came to Pixel as a game, as a project, who believes in us, each of these people will make money. And those who came to hit the glass, well, you will soon have the opportunity to wrap up pixel dust in. Give the chance to buy to those who believe in us.
That's cool too, yeah. That's all correct.
We have worked through these points, so, well, I think everyone here who is listening to us, you've seen that throughout this year. We have never tried to, engage in some wild monetization, rake in money for everything possible, or show you ads. That is, we never had. Even the display of ads was through a partnership project through Satoshi. By the way, soon you won't need to watch ads through Satoshi anymore. You will need to either use a booster or launch instead of watching ads in the partnership project. So, there you go. So all this time, we weren't focused on collecting money from users. We were simply methodically working on building the project every day because we understand that only upon the completion of all the features, upon the completion of the economic cycle, I've said this many times, yes, and that our project is designed for 2 years of development, for 2 years of construction. That's when the growth and demand for Pixel will begin. So, that's exactly when users will start coming, and it will be strategically and economically beneficial to conduct the TGE, so that any user can come from the market, buy Pixel for $1,000, because they know that in 3 months, they can turn that $1,000 into $1,500. Well, that's basically math and economics. So where does the money come from, right? The economic cycle.
Let me add a bit.
Go ahead, Steph.
Actually, regarding the whole TGE story and so on, we definitely want a great TGE, and we're working towards that. If you look at how projects much larger than us, with much bigger investments, are entering the market right now, so we don't hide it how they enter, they rely on the facts, and that's it. I mean, we don't want that. That's the first point. The second point is that the market right now, it's no secret to anyone. Well, those who are in the market, yes, are would like to believe in it, yes, in a mode of reaccumulation, like burning out, like Elon Musk. We respect our red-haired president. Well, it's good he's not ours.
Not ours.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean our crypto president. Is crypto? Elected him, so accordingly. And everything is like that. Believes in it. Some believe, some no longer believe. Among the readers, as the people in general. The boom? Ended there. Yes, goodbye. Accordingly, we seeing this story. Consulting again with people who are also kind of entrenched in the market. And we understand that, well, TGE. Well, of course, we could do it. But if there were $10 million for TGE to distribute money to everyone, we would certainly do it. But those millions, well, unfortunately, we don't have them. We don't. This is not a secret either. Everyone, I think, understands this. Therefore, we are working in this direction, and now we are focusing a little on the token which we are trying to gather. Actually,
is it Sasha's connection that's lagging, or mine? It's Sasha's. It's Sasha's.
It seems like your internet today, I don't know, either TV or internet. Well, anyway, okay, then I won't. What kind of gay? We are waiting for market growth.
What are you saying? Multi-billion projects are made up of 95% global support, just straight up with the top players in the current market. Well, kind of like, the token comes out and does minus 10 times. Well, kind of course, well, what is there to talk about? They just showed us this as an example. What do you want? Do you want to waste a year and a half of your life? Launching a TGE? Well, go ahead.
They will turn out.
Let us help you.
To get for your 500 pixels, say $3 to $10 at best. Yeah, is it worth entering the market like this? For what?
You just need to understand that when the economic cycle is completed, the value of a pixel could increase tenfold, or, God willing, even 100-fold from the TGE, because there will be demand, because there will be a reason to own a pixel not just to play the game, but also to use DeFi functionality. So, as I mentioned, we are developing our own AI platform, meaning our own artificial intelligence, for which you will need to pay pixels, like $10 a month. And the subscription will cost $20 a month, but it will be charged in pixels. So various tools will be built.
Even payment gateways will be processed through us. This means other projects will be able to launch and connect Pixel, SBCs, to implement various DeFi functionalities, as well as payment and AI functionalities into their projects. That's the difference. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, it's just that we're entering the TGE, and we already have a fundamental product in demand. And the token constantly has demand. People buy it, and it grows, grows. Then we drop to minus 10 times, and our product becomes something like, oh, forget it. How did the pixel drop by 95%? Just some random guys. We won't use their product. Well, it's just the attitude already. I mean, it's like when you have a product, you hit the market. Oh, cool. Let's go. Let's use it. Let's integrate it. Or integrate a product that has already dropped 10 times. And I think you can see it yourselves in the market. I mean, when you look at a product that has dropped 10 times, you think, why bother? The founders probably aren't working on it. But we are working. We are working. And a lot. So, our advisor said, if you want to waste 18 months, do a TG.
A small, quick question. Someone is asking me privately if there will be a discount on opening slots, because we have the last 50 pixels, or 305 SPP, I think. Some are asking if there will be any discounts on opening slots.
Yes.
That's certainly a hadron.
No, probably not.
If we give a discount, what will all the people who love discounts say, right?
No, you already have boosters. Almost all users got the first 2 booster slots for free, saving $5. So, there was already a discount for you.
Look, 50 pixels for an active player right now. Even one who doesn't pay is honestly, well, really nothing. You can actually Recraft 3 or 4 common NFTs with a chance to pull. Okay, with a small chance to pull a decent booster. Well, I mean,
For those for whom 50 pixels is a lot, we recommend upgrading drills and probably a drill.
I can't hear anyone.
Me too. Seems like no one is talking.
Well, basically, the point is that for an active user, 50 pixels is really not much, even for a user who hasn't paid at all but has been playing for a long time. 50 pixels is not a lot. As of today. That is, with paid boosters using NFTs, you could, well, let's say, in a year you could earn hundreds of NFTs. No investments.
But for those who started not so long ago, it's probably about leveling up the main aspects, right? Am I understanding correctly?
Well, of course, yes. Unfortunately.
So I don't see anyone else with their hand raised right now. If there's no one else, we'll wrap it up. We've had over 2 hours of the AMO session, Oleg.
Yes, let's wrap it up, guys. Once again, I want to finally say that the project, from the very beginning according to the roadmap, has been present from the first moment when the first user joined our ecosystem. And in our very first AMO, we said that the project is planned for 2 years of development. The project includes an economic cycle that allows you to convert your pixels into liquid tokens, meaning coins that can be exchanged for dollars or rubles at any time. But we have rearranged some stages of development and are now focused. Can you hear me right? It's so quiet.
Yes.
Yes. And now, we are focused on the fastest possible implementation of features that will allow you to convert your pixels into liquid coins right now. And according to our game designer's calculations, with the syndicate working smoothly, this will yield much more than if you sold the tokens at the TGE. Along the way, you will also have the opportunity to collect your pixel dust in a scroll, which is currently being mined, and sell it in the marketplace to other players who need to develop their clan, their lands, and improve their buildings. So,
Artem wants to ask a question. Let's give him the floor. Artem, we turn on your microphone. Turn on your microphone and ask your question. Good evening. So somehow I can't hear Artem. Oleg, can you hear him?
no, I can't hear Artem.
Well, then I suggest we wrap it up. There's no one else. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, that's enough. He knew enough, yes? Economically, today
I hope we answered most of the questions that interested us. In any case, we'll repeat the session before the release of our drive token. I don't know. Maybe yes. There are possibilities.
I just want to add something here as well. Guys, thank you all for coming, for believing, for playing. Actually, we read the chat, you know, we work a lot. We're developing the mechanics.
A lot.
We're making the token. That's right. We're still motivated to push forward. Yes? And a lot depends on us. Yes, so we will be in a pretty tough market, you know? And so, as Oleg said, some stages of development, yes, have actually switched places for us. Therefore, but nevertheless, it's kind of cool, interesting to tweak the pixel.
Yes, thank you all. See you soon, guys. If you have any questions left, ask them in the chat. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye all, thanks.